What's going on, guys? BLAZIN here, and today we have the Teleria Knights with us. We have the one and only Jarec Gaming, who has the most incredible luck when it comes to shard pulling. Jarec, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, mate. Thank you very much. Now, yeah, not been too bad, mate. Not been too bad. Thanks very much. Sorry I've missed a few of the shows, but I'm glad I'm back today. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on. Next, we have Thule, who has, had a few things going on over the last couple of weeks, but I've missed being able to argue with him. So, welcome
Yeah.
back. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Looking forward to the hot debates.
We have one of our newest members, Gestal Gaming. Gestal, how are you doing?
Doing great. What's going on, BLAZIN?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for joining us today, man. And we have the currently only official content creator from Raid, Mr. JR Star 3. Jay, how are you doing today, sir?
Another lovely day to be here on the podcast.
Glad to have you
Convincing.
aboard. Okay, so as always, we like to start the podcast with a question for the viewers to get to know you a little bit, right? So, I don't know about you guys. I have kids, but there is something called new math now. And my son came up to me and started trying to teach me how to do it. And he's like, Dad, I got to do math. And so I just kind of went through and did the math myself. And he's like, no, it has to be done this way. And I'm like, why the hell does it need to be done this way? He's like, no, this is how math is done now. Do any of you guys know what new math is? Jay, we'll start with you first.
I don't even know why would you need to. I don't even know why would you need to change math. You know how many mathematicians spent their whole lives developing the system to just change it? I'm thinking because of the way that new generations are going, everything is getting easier, softer. So is it like shortcuts in math?
Kind of. Like, I can't even tell you how to explain it.
The easiest way to go about it is that it allows you to multiply and divide larger numbers a lot easier. But it's a little more complex. Like long division, how many people do you know that can do long division whatsoever? Almost nobody. Okay, multiplication isn't that hard, but I almost guarantee almost none of you know anybody that knows long division anymore. So that's what new math is teaching you, is how to do those more effectively and how to do bigger numbers.
Okay. Yes, so how about you? Did you know that?
Nah, I've never heard of anything like this.
Okay. And Jarek, is that something they have over in Britain? England?
Well, nothing that I've heard of at the moment. I mean, the kids often bring me home, the homework, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, help me out with the maths." So I'll sit there, I'm like, "Sorry, pal, I'm gonna have to ask Alexa on that one." I'm sorry, man. So I mean, they're teaching me things. It's crazy. It's out of my level. So no, do not know.
It's literally like, I'm just like, what? Why do you need to change math? Just let math be math, right? Like, but yeah, I had no idea. My son was schooling me, and my son is 7 and was teaching me how to do this. I'm like, you know what? I gave up. I've been out of high school now for 20 plus years. So, so let's find out what you guys have been up to throughout the week. Let's start with Thule. What have you been up to this week, man?
Nut. Lots of nut. All we did was the fusion. My clan leader is making me wait until CVC to pull him, sadly. I mean, I kind of need the 60k points too, but so yeah, we're waiting for CVC to pull him, but we're working on a few Fire Night 10 teams for people. And yeah, just more nut.
Nice. Gestal, how about yourself? What have you been up to?
Yeah, stressing out on the fusions. Free to play, got it done. Already pulled them. Main account, haven't pulled them. Obviously, waiting for CVC. But it's the free to play, man. It's stressful. So all the free to players out there, that got it done. Nicely done. I haven't even touched Shoguns yet, so I'm looking forward to getting to that this week.
Okay. Jay, what about yourself?
Yeah, pretty much, just banging out Call the Arbiter videos, doing the nude fusion as well. It was actually like the beginning was pretty good. The middle was, I was trying to get a lot of triple and quad dips, but it's like they only give you like a day or like not even almost felt like 3/4 of a day to rest. And I'm like, it's already artifact enhancement again. I just did it. So it was very stressful for fusion, but let's be honest, it is one of the best fusions they've given us in a long time.
Yep.
And so now I've been pretty much. I did pull them. I know I could have waited, but I need to get things done now because I might not have too much time on Tuesday since you and me are doing videos and stuff.
Right. Jarec, what about you?
Yeah, man, same stuff. It's the Newt stuff. The Sylvan Watchers, I've been trying to get some bits sorted out on as well. I'll put a little video up just going through some of the characters, some of the champs. I mean, those Void Rares I thought was a little bit brutal, as we'll probably be discussing later on. But
Oh yeah.
for the free to play, as I say, for the free to play guys like Gestal and stuff, mate, hats off to you for getting that done along with a main account. I mean, it's just it was tough. It was tough, man. A lot of resources you had to put aside. I'd say champ training I've been doing, going to max out both of those plus the clan stuff and Hydra. Yeah, usual things alongside Newt. So yeah, very busy week.
Nice. So myself, I've been one of my viewers asked me if I could help them out with the fusion and kind of help their accounts out, and I was glad to do it. Helping out the community is what it's all about. So, but I'm not gonna lie, I was sweating bullets, like making sure that fusion was done. And as for myself, I've already pulled them. I could not wait. I wasn't waiting. I'll figure out another way to make that 30k CVC points. But
60k.
Why is it 60?
Gotta book them too.
Oh yeah, well I haven't booked them yet. I never like booking champions right off the bat because I want to see what we can use them for without books. Which, by the way, he is solid without books, but we'll get into that. Welcome everybody to the stream. Augur, Nick, Being Useless, ASDF, and Dubois. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But welcome everybody. Real quick, Dubois. Okay. Real quick, if you guys wouldn't mind just hitting a thumbs up on the stream, let's try to get some more people in here. I don't usually like to, ask for it, but let's try to get a little more people in here. Let's try to get some of the rest of the content creators that are here with me a little more acknowledgement on their channels. Let's get them, let's everybody get to be the next Hell Hades. So the first part that we're going to start off with, and is going to be the biggest controversy, or the biggest issue, I want to say, is this champ chase tournament. And 3,200 points was needed for the Void Rare. Now, I know some people are okay with it, and some people are not. I put it out a post, and a lot of people were not happy with this sentiment, right? And I was looking up on Reddit, same thing. People were not really happy. I mean, it was assuming you didn't pull any legendaries and you were just going off of sacreds, you would have needed, 12 or 11, something like that, which is kind of okay. How many?
Well, you get 750 points for free from the epics that you can fuse in the fusion. So now you immediately only need 10.
Okay. Still 10, but we had to use another, 5 for...
No. That's 10 sacreds, and that gets you all of it done, and that's if you don't pull a single legendary on 2x, which the average rate
we
for
did
a
need
legendary
them
is 6.
on the Summon Rush event.
However, the Summon Rush was only 2250 points, which was lower than other requirements for Summon Rushes. So instead of having a high Summon Rush requirement, they had a low Summon Rush requirement and a high Champ Chase requirement. The real kicker was when they placed the Champ Chase event. The previous fusions, the Champ Chase event there's like 3 events after it. Okay. So if you pull a rare, you can skip events. You didn't have that option in this, and that was the real kicker, in my opinion. I don't think the point thresholds were a problem whatsoever, but it was the positioning of the event itself. It was the very last thing in the fusion, and it was for a void rare, so you were pulling shards, and then as you got your very last champion, you were pulling champions for the fusion.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yes, if you had the worst luck, which a lot of players don't have the best luck, you probably needed 10 sacreds, which are quite hard to come by, especially on your free to play. Which
So
I'm
15
gonna
sacreds would have done the fusion.
15, yes, okay. 15 sacreds, a lot easier said than done, which is why I'm gonna throw this next question to Gestal because he does have a free to play account. And I want to find out how difficult was it for you to complete this fusion because of this point requirement for this void rare.
Wasn't like I since I have two accounts, it's easy for me to kind of store resources on the free to play. So I hold on to every bit of energy that you get in through the shop. That'll stay for 99 days. Sometimes you get some like decent things out of the shop, like 500 energy and extra multi battles and such. So all that, I just store that up in storage. I mean, I had stuff with hours left on it in terms of energy. But in terms of shards, I went for the fragment Supreme Elhane a couple months ago. I've been holding on to that for 3 months. I also had a couple epics and fragments that I'd held on to. So I pulled those. Obviously, I waited on the 3 epics. So I pulled those. So I only ended up pulling, I think, 5. Because I actually hit 2 Legos. But I only ended up pulling 5 Sacreds on the free to play. So, it worked out well, but I save resources. I hang on to all my shards. I'm hitting Ultra Nightmare every day now, so since something happened yesterday, it's not working.
Well, and you're only hitting Ultra Nightmare you're 4-keying Ultra Nightmare.
That's all I'm hitting. Yeah, 4-keying it. So yeah, I just save everything. But I do dailies, I do advanced quests, and I just stockpile. So it wasn't too bad, but I also skipped fusions. Like I didn't do the last 3, so I wait till that fusion. Like I hit Mariuko, I hit Pythion, I hit Elhane, and now I've hit Newt. So you got to pick and choose. Yeah, I agree. Nishak would have been nice. I wouldn't mind having Nishak, but that's all right. I slept on that.
Jay, what about you? Did you think that this was too hard to hit, or did you have any difficulties with it?
My main thing, yes, they increased the points, but I told people since Summer Rush, I was like, just use your misery shards. If you have to use a little bit of ancients, fine. You should be able to get the champion. Then save all your other shards, right? Ancients, voids, and sacreds for basically champion chase. Here's another thing. I don't know if a lot of people noticed this. During in between, they were doing 10x's, trying to do guaranteed, basically trying to get the player base to pull shards, right? So they can run out. So when this comes, you get like, oh no, I'm on my last void rare. I have to spend money. So I already knew that from the get go. I was like, no, not falling for any of these things. So I saved. Honestly, I had enough. I had 7 sacreds from what I think I used like 1 or 2 during the summon rush because I didn't feel like pulling all my miseries. I was lazy. I probably should have. But I had 7. I pulled like 20 ancients, and I basically fused like Ultul said. I fused the epic, so you get free points right there. And then if I needed to, I could have used my summon, my fragment summons to pull more champions. I actually logged onto some people's accounts. There's some free to plays who have like over 10 legendaries that they haven't even pulled, and that makes sense. If you pull champions, you have to then build them, book them, master them. It's just extra resources. So you should only pull them when you're ready.
Okay. Jarec, what about yourself?
Yeah, same what Jay did, man. I think I pulled about 2,000 mystery shards on the summon rush, and then did 3 sacreds, something like that, just to get the first one. and then I think I just got lucky. I got up to about 8 or 9 sacreds, I think, for the champ chase, and then it was just a couple of frags here and there. I think I might have bought a couple of little sacreds here and there, but you know, I wanted to kind of go all in for this one. Yeah, just a couple, just 5, 10, 15. No, just a few. It was just a few. But I knew this one I wanted to kind of go in for a bit, and I was pulling some clanmate shards. So I thought, I'll just make the most of it. But it was okay. I mean, from my point of view, it was okay. For people who hadn't saved resources, then you know you've got a long night of doing mystery shards if you're lucky to have those. I mean, you only really build them up if you're smashing campaign or you're really hitting the shop every sort of hour. But you know, I think it kind of all does roll. Like, you know, if you do champ training and I hit 12-3 and I just put it on auto, I also helper, so then I end up with thousands of mystery shards. So then I can use those for the summon rush, and I know I'm going to use those. So that those two kind of always a bit of synergy. The champ chase is a bit harder. I always save sacreds for that. I normally do voids as well, but I'm on the cusp of void mercy, so I'm saving that for something juicy. But apart from that, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay. And Tuli, what about yourself?
Yeah, I didn't think the thresholds were that bad. I actually haven't bought anything in Raid in a couple months now, so all my fusions are completely free to play done. Also, I started the fusion with 50 ancients, like 10 voids and 3 sacreds. I pulled for the rare on the first weekend. What did I do? I pulled sacreds because it was summon rush. You only need to do 4, and then I pulled some mystery shards. And then I pulled 3 Broadmas, the 3 epics for the fusion, and then I opened sacreds for the rest of the champ chase, and I only ended up opening like 5 sacreds for the second weekend to get the rare. So it really wasn't that hard if you had any amount of planned resources for fusion. That was the kicker. And they were doing so many events, like you said, that were just like, here's this summon event, here's this summon event, here's this one and this one. Like I think they did like 3 midweek summon events during this fusion. Like they were hammering them. And we all knew that the entire fusion pressure was on this champ chase, both by the positioning of it, because of there was no events afterwards, and then we knew the point threshold was going to be high because of the fusion quality.
Yeah.
So,
sorry. Yeah, no, it was definitely not something I wanted to wake up to. Luckily, though, I do always prepare for the worst case with Plarium because, you know, the point increases come ever so often. You know, they on one hand complain that we are hoarding materials, but on the other hand, you know, they are always increasing these numbers and not making it easy for us, especially with the summoning events, right? But as for myself, I mean, I held on to, I think I had like 6 or 7 Broadma fusions ready to go, which definitely help you. I did end up, like you said, Tuli, pulling the epics during the fusion, so that gave me the 700. And I think I had like 1 champion saved in the vault to be summoned, but that was really much about it. But let me ask you, going forward, what suggestions do you guys have for the community to prepare better for these summoning events, right? Because now that we're going to be using, I mean, we could see that they're increasing them. What would you suggest people do, except for saving all of their shards, which is going to be a Wait Shadow Legends game, to you know, make sure that they can get these fusions? I'll start with the person that's been having the free-to-play right now, which is Gestal Gaming.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, definitely hang on to all the energy. Get the energy. I think energy is kind of the biggest requirement. Obviously, I would say shards is the biggest requirement, but instead of shards, energy, because of all the champion training tournaments and events there. Obviously, you also got to do all the dungeons, and then Dungeon Divers always sneaks up on you. So grabbing the energy from Tag Team Bazaar, grabbing it from the clan shop when available, obviously storing it up whenever you can get it from the shop. In fact, I even keep energy from tournament rewards or event rewards and let that go into the storage. Even though it's 6 days, that might help you out, 6 days later in something that you need to finish up. So energy, find the energy everywhere you can.
Okay. Jarec, what about yourself?
Yeah, man, totally agree with that. It's just it's one of those things. I think you also have to get over that fear of missing out, and be a bit more choosy. I mean, if you want to go for every single fusion, and what is it, every 3 months now, is it, or
Every month we get one.
every
fusion.
month? Yeah. So
Every 3 months. Whew, that would be great.
I mean, yeah, that would, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on the person and how they play the game. You can be smart, or you can just smash everything for the sake of an ancient shard, 5 little, fragments in for the soul stones, or you can just sit on your resources and think, do you know what? In 3 weeks' time, there's going to be a new champ coming out. Let's just store it and just do your dailies, and just be smart. But some people don't. Some people just want to hit everything. So then you just got to pull the credit card out. And if that's the case, I mean, there's no way around it. If you're not smart with your resources, then you're playing the wrong game. I think it's you. That's part of the evolution with Raid. You have to kind of start thinking what's coming up, what are they going to do next, what events are going to come up, because there's always something on the horizon. And for me, that's it really. You've got to play smart.
Yeah, agreed. Tuli, what about yourself?
So not hoard all shards, but save your sacreds. Sacreds are the strongest thing that you can leverage for any fusion, like hands down. Summon events are the most difficult events. Like it doesn't even come close. All of the dungeon events can be completed with daily energy. Literally, the daily energy you get that they run, they can be completed with, and you might come out of pocket 400 gems. The whole fusion for any of across all of the events that take energy. They don't take that much energy. The dungeon divers kind of catch you off guard a lot of times, and that's where a lot of the extra will go. But sacreds are the strongest thing that you can leverage for fusions, hands down. And then after that, create a 0 for your resources that's not 0. Like, don't go below 50 mil silver. Don't go below 10 epic books. Don't go below 10 Lego books. Like, create a number that works for your account that's not 0. And silver is one of the biggest examples. If you just stop upgrading gear for 2 weeks on your account or a month, then you have 50 mil or 100 mil silver just sitting there, and now you just have a mass of stuff that you can work with. And looking at a larger sample size tends to be better in this game. Like my gear, I do a gear cleanse maybe every 4 months or so, but the amount of 6-star legendaries that I'm looking at that point, like I quite literally have 400 6-star legendaries unleveled right now that I have to go through. But that's what I want to look at. I don't need minor upgrades. I want to get pretty big chunky upgrades for my champions at this point. So I wait until I have a super large pool of gear to look at, and then I start upgrading stuff. And then I don't waste more silver on suboptimal things that are going to be average in the end. You know what I'm saying? So you need to look at things more in a long-term approach, like these guys are saying, for almost everything, whether that's your silver, your gems, your shards, or anything. If you want to not feel pressured when all of these events come around, you have to have something.
Agreed. Jay, what
Can I
about yourself?
sorry, boys,
Oh,
can I just
go
quickly add as well? I know, sorry, just jumping in, but also this fusion, I think it's the first time in a while where they've actually had a Void Epic. It's not all been the same
Rarity?
type. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was kind of tricky as well. I mean, normally you can almost skip 1 or 2 of the events, the summon ones, but this one they've been a bit cheeky putting that Void one in, especially when you can only get 2 of them in the summon event. So I think that was a bit cheeky, but I think normally it's, although Tool says, saving the shards is very important, you can still scrape by, I think, in the other events if you don't have the shards. So sorry, buddy. Sorry, Jay.
No worries. Jay, what about you?
Just as a side note, I think it's funny. How can Plarium say, "Hey, you're being too smart as a community and saving your resources. You need to start spending them more. We're giving you all these events that you can go nutty on, but like actually go dry so you spend." No, we're gonna play. The point of the game, I always treat raid like kind of like real life, like as a business. Like you have to think of it as how are you gonna win it in life if you don't prepare for the future, right? Like no one's gonna help you. Like someone, of course, one of us, but I mean, in real life, no one's gonna really. You have to do things yourself. No one's gonna pick you up. So, whatever resources I see, like champions or resources I have, I treat it the same way. Like you have to, budget, manage yourself. And we know that Plarium is just getting, it's not the game's not getting easier in terms of resources. It's getting a little bit more intense. But I also think they've been giving us a lot more for free, right? In terms of daily free login stuff, adding soul stones, different things we didn't have way back 3 years ago. Like we just got energy gems and maybe a little bit of silver. Now we get tons of new chests, new things to get, tag team arena or even live arena to get free resources. Faction wars is giving us new stuff. So always save all the new stuff you get. I know it's like nice and flashy, and you're like, oh my god, I got this new immortal soulstone from my faction wars and silver watchers. I should pull it. No, I got over 130 immortal soulstones. I have like 3 or 4 immortals, and I'm saving. Even though there's these soulstone rushes, I keep thinking to myself, wait a minute. Plarium's originally told us they had no plans for the future to do it, and I called this way back, and I was like, they're going to do soulstone rushes. Then I also called it. I was like, wait, they're going to eventually, probably. I'm not saying I'm not official saying this, like leaking it, but they might actually start putting soulstone rushes in terms of getting champions. So think about it. We're saving sacreds and voids, but what if they start making us pull immortals or mortals or slash immortals during these soulstone rushes? What do you do? And we've already seen the points what you get. Like I pulled some during a soulstone rush, and I'm like, that's all I got. And I pulled like 30, and I was like, wow, it would be really hard. So
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is Tuli touched on it. The energy, you can literally complete it with you complete almost any event with the energy you get in game every day. That is something they've made sure that you can do. The summoning stuff. Now, I don't know how Jarec went and summoned 2,000 misery shards. I had to do a video for, efficiently doing champ training 10k points. I only had to pull 500 and I dreaded it. I feel like
See that grey? See grey there? That's why. That's how it happens, man.
I feel like after I hit this little button right here and it lets me summon them, there should be just something right here that says feed all, or turn into booze or whatever. But yeah, I don't know how you did 2,000 of that, man. I have heard somebody that did, what was it, like 10k points that were needed for the Michinaki one, and I was like, I would quit after like 300. I wouldn't even touch it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even touch it.
It's like that now. His hand is totally stuck. Like
I would have to spend so much time, and I wouldn't even do anything else after that. I'd like quit the game or something. But the fusions, I mean, Broadma and Relic Keeper, right? Relic Keeper is worth 250 points. Broadma is worth 350. You see here, I'm kind of out of Abeluster, but I have a healthy stock of, most of the other ones. These two right here, I'm going to start having to save up and using these champions to fuse. So definitely keeping Broadma as copies, as many as you can, is worth it. I don't really have anything else saved in here. I think the only other thing that I could probably pull is Quintess, and I think I'm like months away from that. But
you want to hear something crazy? My clanmate, his entire reserve vault, all 400 slots of it, are rares for Relic Keeper and Broadma.
That's insane. See, that's what I mean. He is prepared through a summon rush. He's never going, not a summon rush, a summoning tournament.
Yeah, anytime they do a Lego for a champ chase, he's ready. He's got like 30k points and he doesn't have to pull a single shard.
Yeah. Although, let's see, what was it? You can use what is it, blue sacks, and kind of feed them all and whatnot, and set up a auto clicker. But that just takes too much time for myself. But yeah, I that's the biggest thing I can say is the shards. I don't tend to go for a lot of 10x's and stuff like that, and I think the 10x's aren't really worth it. So I would definitely just save what you can. And as for Plarium telling us, we're hoarding too much, well, it is what it is. This is what we have to do to be able to complete what you give us. So, next thing I want to talk about is going to be this new Prism Crystal with the summoning event. Now, you guys were talking just a little bit before the start of the live stream, but we're gonna be. I guess we still don't know how it's supposed to work fully, but I'll go ahead and throw it to Thule first. What are your expectations of this?
I mean, if they do anything less than a banner system that we already see in other gacha games, it'll be just straight depression. If they don't offer a single or two, some kind of amount of champions on a set rotation, whether that be random champions they pick that month, whatever. If they don't introduce something like that, they're just gonna shoot the game in the foot. Champions are, especially affinity champions, they're insanely inaccessible at this point. You cannot target any of them at any point ever anymore. You have less than a 1% chance even on 10x or some shit. It's so bad. So if they don't introduce some way to at least start getting A tier champions, you know what I mean? Like, sure, maybe they don't put Duchess up there or whatever, but like they need to start giving people options to get these champions if they want people to make it through the mid game. Like, if you want to retain players through the mid game, you need to give them something shiny, something long term to work for, right? Like, if they can say, "Oh man, I could get a nut out of this banner at any month," you know what I mean? That's going to keep people playing. If they think they could get a Duchess out of there or whatever, but they need to start doing something. And they said they were going to do things like with the token trader that they never did. They never gave us a new rotation of champions out of there. You know what I mean? So like they introduced systems that were able to give us champions at least. Like, granted, the token trader's not exactly a good ratio and it's very accessible. So something like this is much more accessible to the average player, especially if they uptick the rate at which we can start getting them, like they have with soul stones, right? Like, soul stones were very hard to get when they first came out. They really weren't abundant in the game, but they also wanted a lot of data on how effective it was for people's accounts long term. Like, you can simulate all kinds of things that you want, but you need to see what people are actually doing after 6 months of having a piece of content before you can really make a true decision on, oh well, we have to uptick this resource. You know what I mean? And another thing that people really overlook in design in games is people hate things taken away from them. Okay?
Like a sacred shard and a 5-star chicken.
Sure, but I mean the soul stone and the immortal soul stone is way more better for my account than any sacred and chicken would ever for. So people hate things taken away from them, but they love things getting buffed that weren't useful before. Insert Tila, Baron, all of these other champion buffs that they've done that have brought them into Hydra viability, especially, even just releasing content that makes champions viable. Now, people are all about giving power to things that aren't powerful already. They hate when power is taken away. Terrace and Marichka at this point, the amount of people that have invested into these, like literally thousands and tens of thousands for some people to get these champions. And if they nerf them at this point, all of those people are going to be upset.
Yeah.
Like, Terrace is completely rampant right now. And he, in my opinion, he's a total problem and he needs to be fixed. But the point still stands.
No.
People will hate getting Terrace taken away from them, even if it is healthy for the game. So now they've got to balance around Terrace now, they've got to release 10 other things and bump the power everywhere else rather than just bring him back down. You know what I mean? So in general, in design, you need to start low and then creep it up just a little bit. And that's how you introduce content healthy. and people hate that. Honestly, they want gas and they want to go now.
You touched up a little bit on the banner system. You want to elaborate, just so some players who might not know, who are watching this later on.
Yeah, so it's just like the guaranteed events, really, that we have had before. That would be like pull 100 prism shards, get Duchess. It's really that simple in most other games. Like save the resource, get it, buy it, whatever, and that's it. You get the champ.
Okay.
Boom.
Let's go with Jarec. What are your expectations of this?
Well, say we had a little chat and earlier, but I'd say rereading this, that second paragraph, to me, it looks like, as it says here, right? During this event, you can summon from a unique pool of champions. Each event will have its own unique pool that you can summon from. Champs of the same rarity have an equal chance. So to me, that says we're going to do epic champs from this, like from the Telerian group, and there's going to be 5 champs. You'll summon your 100 fragments, and you'll get one of those 5. That's to me how I'm reading it. Then it'll say these are the Lego champs. There's 4 champs in there. You'll summon your frags. You'll get one of those 4. It's not going to be a save up and pick, and I'll have that one. It's I think it's still going to be random, total RNG on a very smaller. So you're still, it's probably better than times 10, but still you're still spinning the wheel and hoping to get the one you want rather than probably the other one. So again, you're going to have a Crizia sitting there, someone else over there. You think, I need to get the Crizia. There's 4 other champs. Probably the best chance you're going to get, but it's still not guaranteed. That is how I think I've read it on that second paragraph.
Yeah, that's how I read it too. I'm just saying if the way that they introduce it is less than like an actual guaranteed banner system, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. So again, sorry, yeah, I was hoping for like you say with the other thing where you can sort of save up the shards, unlock the one you wanted, fire it off, and then you get that champ. But it definitely doesn't look like that. It looks like it's still RNG based summoning. Yeah. I don't know if you guys play Transformers. They used to play Transformers build based game. There was a thing where again you save up. You think I've got like enough for a 5-star bot. You can pick, if you open that, you get one of the 6 bots in that little section. That's exactly how it's going to be, I think.
Okay. And Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I think I just was reading it at the same time, and it said a unique pool of champions. So at first I thought it was just going to be that entire group, the Nyrisian or whatever it is. Nyrisian, sorry. I thought it was going to be like, so here's your pool from all these champs, and there's like 38 legendaries or something in that group. And that's the smallest of them. So I'm like, this is going to be, I mean, a little better than a 10x, but like, who really cares? But if it's a unique pool and it is just a couple, as these guys have said, I think that'd be definitely better. Now, obviously, how are we going to get these prism crystals? We got this Deck of Fate coming out tomorrow, too. Are they going to gate it behind that? Like, that's the worst. That's the most RNG gambling thing they have on here, I feel like, just flipping cards and hoping you get 3 epic cards in a row.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to, obviously they're probably going to sell these crystals, right? But, if you're earning them, if you can earn them in like Dragon and tag team tournaments, whatever, like just different events and tournaments throughout the week. And then you can just, pull 1, 2, or 3 and hopefully get a shot at some of these. That would be cool. But if it's like only Deck of Fate, I don't know. I don't feel like it'll be that. I think it'll be kind of annoying.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
So yeah, what it seems like they're going to be doing, because if I was the company, right, people need dupes. We need to get our faction guardians up, and they can't. And they do these 10x's on themes, right? Ally protectors, revivers, boosters, right? So I think this is a way to kind of get like a whole section of champions from different factions, like all Nerusian, all Telerians, things like that. But it's still like there's a lot of legendaries per faction, so you're looking at a lot of different champions that you can't guarantee get. We wanted something where you can like, okay, it's 2 champions. I have a 50% chance. It looks like it's another solution for 10x because it looks like they don't want to give us 20, 30x. So instead, they want to do something else that looks interesting that makes us want to summon. Um, but hopefully they give us a decent amount of these prism crystals because if they're super gated or tons of resources, I think it's just an extra 10x.
So, how many Legos per month would be an acceptable rate from Prisms for you of random Legos?
Are you asking me or
Anybody.
Jay?
And anybody,
Um,
really.
Well, so I think a decent amount would probably be 2 that I could acquire, depending on, the activity in the game that it requires. If it requires a lot of activity, if I got to pull like 100 prisms or collect 100 prisms and I'm only getting 1 or 2 from certain events, I would definitely, want a lot more. I would definitely want 2 to 3. If they're easy to acquire, and you're getting, like 5 or 6 out of every event, I would say, 1 wouldn't be too bad, at least for me. What about,
I think. Yeah, anybody? Sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're
Sure.
looking at 1, 2 a month. I reckon. Again, it's going to be, you'll have a few events. It'll probably be a week of grinding through various stuff we've seen before. We'll probably have an extra 25 out of 125. I reckon you need 100 probably for a Lego. There'll probably be 125 or something up for grabs, and it's the same sort of story. You just grind through what you can. Once you get it, you decide what you do. It'll probably be like 50 for epics, 25 for rares, and you pull what you need to pull.
Okay.
But yeah, I think 2. Yeah, one. It probably 1. I reckon it'd be 1 Lego a month.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I'd be happy to get at least 1 a month. I don't even know if we're gonna get that, to be perfectly honest. That would be great, especially if it's like, because honestly, as Atul said earlier, or Nacho, the getting the, like, basically all I'm looking for in non-affinity at this point is Rhodos and Harima. I don't even care about the other champs. Like, okay, whatever, fill out the account, but like, there's 2, and what are the odds of what are the odds of getting those 2 champs? Basically nothing. That's why I don't even care about pulling ancients or sacreds at this point in my main account. I don't feel like it's never gonna happen. So if this gives that chance of happening, if it's you're pulling from a pull of 4 or 5 and you might get that Rhodos, you might get that Harima, give it to me. That'd be great. I would love it. So I hope that's how it is. I guess we'll see tomorrow.
Jay, what about you?
Well, they're already giving us technically 2 Legos a month. Every 2 weeks, we're getting fragment summons / or fusion. So we're having to do we do twice the amount of work we used to do, because we used to get 1 every, or like.
We're
every
only
month.
getting 1 every month. One per 30 days.
So it's just like, in terms of this one, I don't know. They're probably not going to give us. I would like at least 1 or 2 a month, right? But from what I'm reading, it's like, okay, we're gonna give you 30, but you're gonna have to work hard. But what if you can't get those other, like, let's say 20? You'll be at 50. You have to save those 50 for another time. There's another Primsum event where you could probably get yourself another 30, 50. So on the good side, we might get 1 a month. On the bad, it might take 2, 3 months unless you're spending money.
Yeah, I mean, it could do it like a Doom Tower, where you get 3 for a secret room, and it takes you 3 rotations, 4 rotations to do it. So you might get 1 a quarter, 1 every 3 months.
So then it really just comes down to how accessible they are. If they're extremely accessible, 1 a month, super cool. If they're not accessible, people are gonna want more than 1 Lego a month. Huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, I agree with that. So my feeling on this is, how are we going to acquire them, right? Hasn't really been talked about. What do we have to do to get them? Are they going to be at events? Are they going to be just kind of a drop off of a loot table from a dungeon? That's my biggest issue, and that's what I'm worried about. It's going to be, they're gonna put this in, but they're going to take away our soul stone, or they're going to take away our sacred shard from an ending of the event. But if we were to get this as a bonus, like instead of getting an ancient shard running a dungeon, and we had, a decent shot, like a 5% chance to get one of these, I wouldn't be opposed to that, right? I think that would be good, and I'd probably actually like to see it that way. I don't want it seen given as an event reward. What do you guys think? How do you think they're going to go about distributing these shards? We'll start with Jay first.
So now that I'm actually thinking, if people are saving too many resources, right, shards for these fusions, it's kind of, maybe it's a way for us, like, hey, we can get these prism crystals during summon rush or like events, and we're gonna want you to summon more. You can get this as a catalyst, so you could be like, okay, maybe I only got one Lego out of all my shards, but then I get these prism crystals. I can save them up to get another Lego if I didn't get anything good out of my shards. So that's what it's kind of seeming to me.
Okay. Tuli, what do you think?
Oh, they're absolutely coming in events. They already said they're not giving us many more free resources. In the recent interview, they are 100 times more likely to give them all behind some kind of event. So we'll start seeing a lot more of, I think, the turn events, Sand Devil events, things like that. And they'll start putting them in there to incentivize that content, because if they're locked behind hard content like Shogun and Sand Devil, now you need a high level account to even get them. They definitely don't want bots having access to these, and that's the biggest, and that's something you always have to think about design choices, and that's why a lot of them are made the way that they are, so that they require participation rather than something that you can just do on a level 10 account. You know what I mean? If you put it in a dragon event, you could literally do dragon 1 and get that resource. Like, you don't need a progressed account to acquire that. Okay. And that's why they've started gating these higher resources behind difficult content, and why they're not giving them out as free. You know what I mean? They've started, like, Champ Training event is one of the events that has gone through the roof in value. It's through the roof. Okay. Look at the one that's going on right now. Okay. It has 750 mortal stones, and then another one at 2,000, then 40 gems at 3,300. Then you get 4 of the medium essence at 4,000. You get a 6-star glyph. You get the gold chest at 9,100, which could be anywhere from a half a stone to a middle stone, the immortal stone. Then you get an immortal stone at 1,100 and a Lego book at 13K. Champ Training events have gone through the roof with these kind of events, but they require participation. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're absolutely going to put them in events and tournaments. Like, there's no way they don't, and they're going to be high level things.
Okay. Jarec, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'd like to say Jay's thing would be great. I'd love it if it was a case of, these fragments in, like, if it did like a story way, these fragments, when you open a shard, it breaks and you get these tiny fragments, and then they're scooped up. These are what they're going to be. So you need to open them to get them. Obviously, but that's not going to happen. It's exactly what Nacho's saying. What Tool's saying. They're just going to be put in somewhere. And you're going to have to really work hard for them, and that's a fact. There's going to be no easy way, I don't think, or there'll be some unique way, like those path of whatever it's called, where you've got to go down and do champ training and do probably behind Summer Rush events. You'll have to do tons of shards to then get coins to move your way down. You'll probably get 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, or they'll break them up, and you've got to follow the routes around, click keys, go back down the middle to get the last one, and then you'll get yourself a summon, which is fair enough, but it's just going to be tough. You're going to have a lot of people not getting it unless they're putting their hand in their pocket.
Yeah. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I guess I hope they come in events. I hope they don't. I guess the Deck of Fate is an event, but I hope it's not like just that, or if it's a week long, obviously I think it's gonna have to be a lot of the different tournaments and events. So yeah, I guess it's how many you'll get, and if you'll be able to get more than one, like enough to be able to pull more than one time during an event. Looks like it's once a week. The other side of it is like if you have enough to pull at the end of that week, they're gonna like automatically pull for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have enough, then it will carry over to the next one. So it's almost like if you don't like who's in the pool, then obviously you don't go for them, but maybe just go for enough so that it won't auto pull for you. So you have kind of a step moving forward. I don't know, but it's
weird. That's a weird rule, isn't it?
Yeah, so it does sound like we're gonna go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I get a lot of speculation. I hope it's good. I hope it's a win for Polarium. I feel like they've been kind of throwing a lot of L's lately, so it'd be nice to get a good one here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna see a lot of the, if it requires 50 for a epic, we'll probably see a lot of people hoarding at like the 48, 49 mark, and just kind of waiting to see till the next event to say, hey, maybe it's worth pulling for this one. But let's go through real quick. In Norwegian Alliance, we've got Dwarf, Shadowkin, and Sylvan Watchers. So I don't know how they're going to, pick who goes in it, but who would you want to see as the top void or not the top void, as the top champion in this for the dwarfs? Let's go with Jay first.
I mean, is that even a question? I mean, everybody wants a Charizia. I mean, we just got Newt too. Imagine, dude, I know somebody who has 2 Charizias and 2 Newts.
Here's the question though:
Nice.
Are we gonna be? Is it going to be gated just for non-voids, or is it going to be voids as well? Because they haven't released that, have they?
Nope, they haven't.
So we don't know. So we assuming that it's just going to be non-void champions.
I think it will be void though. I mean, look at the picture. The picture does look a bit purpley, green, blue, yellow. Tree.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a mix of all of the.
Yeah.
'Cause I think they would have said in that announcement, but we're excluding voids. To me, it looks like
Would
it's
they?
the
Would
whole
they
line.
really?
So
Would they really?
traditionally, they at least separate affinity events from void events. So maybe we'll see magic champions on rotations and then void champions the next time and force champions, something like that. You know what I mean? Or they'll double dip like all revivers in this faction that are affinities. One void Lego from each of them, but the requirements are now going to be higher because you get a void Lego. Like they strictly value their void Legos at like 3 to 4 times the value of an affinity Lego.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean you're right. They'll probably put the voids in a separate pool, but I think again with regards to this image, even now looking at it, you can see the fragments all glowing around it, all the colors of the shards. It's just
I feel like
you're probably
voids are
going to
kind
get
of
voids.
Yeah,
Definitely. They'll be separate and higher, but yeah, we're definitely going to get some of it.
Yeah. So go ahead. So Jay says Acrizia, or Newt. Jarec, what do you think?
Well, was this just for dwarfs or just for the?
Just for dwarfs. Just for dwarfs.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could do with a third one, I suppose. I mean, that'll get all 3 hydras done nice and easy, wouldn't it? I suppose.
Okay. What about you, Gestal? Anything different?
Yeah. I can't justify anything different than those two.
Okay.
They're
Julie,
great.
what about...
I mean,
at this point, the only other viable dwarf is Trunda or Molly and Brogny. Those are the only ones.
I was just gonna say, you know what? I've already got Newt, so I if I get a double copy of him, it's great. Acrizia, I mean, yeah,
Everybody
definitely. you want her, but I think my number one I'd probably go with is Underpriest Brogni, and that's because he's going to help everybody from the new game, from early game to mid game, and some late game accounts, and progress them way into the end game, right? I think hands down, there's going to be a lot of debate between who has been the best fusion so far. But Brogni is like the top on my list for a champion that should be in this event. But what about the epics? Who do you guys think is going to be part of this? We'll throw this to Gestal first.
Demitha, please, for the free to play. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
I mean, for specifically for me, that's what I would like. But like for everybody, I'm sure people would love a Geomancer. There's tons of people out there who would love a Geomancer if they didn't have them. Melga's a great reviver. Gala's great. I mean, the epics in this are you could almost make an argument for all of them. They got great epics.
Okay. So who would be your number one choice then?
Demitha.
Demitha. Okay. Jarec,
Yes.
what about you?
Yeah, I like Gala for Arena, Geo for everything else. Demitha's good for unkillables and that sort of stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
I like Morag. Morag's great for the ally attack. There's some real good champs. I mean, the Faction Wars champs are loads of great epics for that.
Okay.
Rock
But
Breaker.
who would be your number one pick though?
Number one, Geo. Gotta be Geo.
Geo. Okay. Tuli, what about, or Nacho, sorry. What about yourself?
I would go with Melga since everybody else
Melga?
is gonna. I mean, Gestal touched on Melga, but she's the only epic reviver. So
Yeah.
in that faction, the boss ignores her defense. So she's pivotal. She's extremely pivotal for accounts.
They
Okay.
definitely modeled her on Galactus, didn't they?
Yes,
They
Yes.
definitely did, 100%, man. She is the smallest Galactus you've ever seen.
Yes. I'm curious. I want to hear from everybody in chat. Who would you guys want to see as the epic in this for the Norwegian, for the dwarfs? Jay, what about you? Who would your number one pick be?
No, if it's someone who's having trouble with clan boss, I'd say Demitha. But honestly, Geo literally does everything.
Everything.
Literally. So.
Okay. All hail the king.
So for me, it's actually going to be Gala, and shout out to Shani who has been using her for Arena, but I did a clan boss video with her, and I mean she did nuts damage. Basically one keyed the damage just by herself. Very underestimated in clan boss. I love her for that. So, now let me ask you guys: do you think there's going to be rares that are part of this prism crystal thing?
hope
Do you
not.
think they're going to do it? Jay, I'll throw it to you first.
I hope not, because I mean we can get rares from misery shards. What?
Yeah.
Or ancients. Like, why do we have to? Oh.
Mm,
If you were to choose a rare, I mean, let's be honest. Aver Alchemage is really good. Kazir Deep Heart's really good. They get specific, pick specific ones to help people out, like Bulwark for really early people. But honestly, I hope they don't, because that's the whole point of this new system, is to help people who don't have a lot of sacreds, who don't, who want to target. Why would you target rares? I don't just for me, this just seems weird.
Listen,
If we could
when they
empower rares, that would be different. But we can't. So.
when they said that the remaining will be summoned, I don't put it past them in not putting in a rare at like 15 and making sure that you can't hoard more than that, right?
Yeah.
So
But,
it is
I
a
mean, you gotta
possibility
think-
that we could do that.
You got to think it's cold hearts. People haven't got cold heart. Imagine if there was one of these chances for someone to get a cold heart for 25
That-
frags. Someone's going to be all over that.
That's true. Nacho, do you think that the rares are going to be part of this?
God, I hope not.
I just ruined everybody's day by saying this.
Sounds terrible. Like it sounded literally just like a trash can idea. Like, and if they do, they paid an intern. Like they finally paid him. They gave him his first check. You know what I'm saying? Because he said, "Hey guys, what if we throw theirs in at their event?" and that's how that got in the game. So please no. Sounds like trash.
Gestal, what about you?
I mean, I was kind of hoping it was just gonna be Legos, so
Yeah.
they better not be rares.
Oh.
Jarec, what about you?
Well, John, now you said that, imagine if this unique pool of champs is, 5 common or 5 uncommon, 5 rare, 5 epic, 2 Legos. You know what I mean? It just imagine.
Oof.
I can imagine doing something like that. If the summon amount for prism crystals was low, and you could summon quite a lot, then I could kind of see if they were going to put like that, like group them all together. If it's a case of you have to sort of collect loads to get a good champ, then I can see that as well. But I'm thinking now you said that, because again, it's just that picture. The picture of that shard has got green on it, which is uncommon. It's got blue on it. It's got yellow, and obviously there's purple. So to me, that's saying there's going to be more champs in this little select pool, and you will, I don't know, you'll have 100 prism shards. You get 10 spins. Fingers crossed, you get yourself a Lego out of it. That actually is more I'm thinking about it. I think the more it's going to go that way.
Here's where I'm gonna ruin it for you, Jarek. What color is the main color of the crystal? It is white. It is white. Could they put on? Could they put commons in? The basic
No.
the
No way, man. That's even worse. Come on.
All I think is you guys take art too serious.
You reckon it's just the artist?
But all right, so moving on to the Shadowkin. Who would you guys have as your first legendary pick for this and would want to see him? We'll start with Nacho first.
Kimmy. I know everyone's going to say Harima and Marichka, but I'm definitely going to go with Kimmy. There are 2 boosters that are not Krisk, and Krisk doesn't boost. So her and Kim and Necmo are the top enablers for Hydra teams. Like the amount of work that they do in the Hydra team is crazy. So definitely going to go with Kimmy.
Okay. Jarek, what about you? Who would you want to see?
Any Lego from Shadowkin?
Any.
Yumiko. She is my most sought after. I've gone after her twice on a ×10, proper all in, and she's eluded me twice. I need to get Yumiko. I have to get Yumiko.
Okay.
She's the last one. Yeah. Her and that Tatsu are the last 2 I need. I mean, Jinro, but I'm not worried about him. That Doomtower guy, but it has to be Yumiko.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd like to be able to start empowering Harima. I hate to say this, but I have 2 Yumikos, so if I got another one, I'd probably empower her too to get the little extra speed and accuracy. But those would be the 2 I'd want, you know. I like the Kimmy. I think that's a good call. I'm a one-track mind right now. I like Live Arena. My focus on my main account is how can I get better at Live Arena. That's how I'm gonna get better, getting those guys empowered.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
Definitely Yumeko. Because I already have a Warlord and a Kaimor, but if I could have both of them in one champion, I could start creating some different comps. I wouldn't need 2 champions. I only need 1, right? So I would like to be able to have her so I can do different things as well. But I think most of the player base would love a fucking ninja. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't play. People didn't play in the beginning, so if they had another chance to give it out, but they're probably not gonna because it's exclusive. But yeah, Kimmy is
Yeah.
amazing too. I missed Kimmy. I honestly, Kimmy and Brogni are two champions that I've missed, and I've been crying since those days. So I would like
Yeah.
one as well.
The thing is,
Ah.
on new accounts, can you still see the picture of Ninja?
Yeah.
Ah, that's even worse, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Forever grayed out picture. You're never gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ninja owns Ninja. We're not gonna get him, unfortunately. I do hope, which is why I think they started veering away from doing those champions. Basically, like Artak is one that they own, so they can down the line say, "Hey, we're gonna put a champ training or something like that." And even with Ronda, they kept her in quite a while, but I think they learned from Ninja not to basically lock that champion. As for me, I think Michinaki is going to serve you the best. And I know that they had a quote unquote guarantee for him, but he is a awesome Hydra champion. He is an awesome clan boss champion. Doesn't require a lot for you to start using him in clan boss to help you, kind of get your account to the next level. Being defense based is a plus. Bringing the decreased defense, the weaken, and the HP burn, plus the chance to counterattack is just huge. So I feel he would probably be the best. And you can actually use him not booked. So that is my vote. It seems like a lot of people, though, are saying Yumiko all the way is what they want. So I guess Yumiko wins this one. Now, what about the epics? Who would you guys like to see? We'll start off with Jarec.
Do you know what? Honestly, I only really use Gory, and even then it's a bit half-assed in Finite. I really don't use them. A little bit of Teragi, I sort of dabbled with occasionally in Clan Boss, but I guess, I mean, Gembo for Arena. But honestly, I'm very underwhelmed with their epics, to be fair. I mean, some of them have some good stuff. I mean, Barangi can do Bommel and bits and bobs, but none of them. I've never really sort of gone through stuff and thought, well, actually, I'm going to use that person from Shadowkin, that epic. None of them really have blown my mind, personally. I think Gembo is probably the best for his arena stuff. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. You could, any of them, really.
You don't have a particular one?
Honestly, I don't. I really don't. I'll have to say Gembo, because he's probably the one I've used more than twice.
Okay. What about you, Gestal? Who would you want to see in this pool?
Teragi would be nice on my free-to-play account.
Okay.
I would say that's probably it. Yeah, I don't think it's nowhere near as good as the dwarf epics.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot of things going on with all of these epics, but not enough for one.
Yeah.
Jay, what about you?
Yeah, each epic is pretty much like some of them are good for faction wars, one of them's good, two of them's good for Doom Tower, one of them's good for Sand Devil for soloing, one of them's good for two of them are good for Hydra, one of them's good for Dragon. Like they're all just like slightly niche for different areas. If I had to choose one, the best one, I mean, Tarag is just really good overall. He helps you a lot. Clan Boss, Doom Tower, like Hydra. Like if you need something, he's a good champion. And like, he's kind of crazy too. He's like a 1-3-3 as well. You would have thought like his A3 would have been a 4-turn, but for an epic, he's a really good just generic epic.
Okay. All right. Tuli, what about you?
Kitagashi. This faction is beyond toxic in faction wars for people getting Lydia. And she's the only reviver. This is one of the toughest factions because the epics suck. Like you can't get if you don't have Legos to carry your damage, you can't get damage on the boss. And the boss is literally a DPS race. So Kinagashi for sure.
So for me, I'm gonna go with Burning Gary, and that's because he allows you to basically get up to Bommel stage 50 on the third rotation for hard mode. So, it still allows you to semi-complete the whole rotation. But yeah, I think I have the same sentiment. Other than Taragi, there's not much of anything in here that I would, use other than maybe Gembo, but it's going to be a very difficult faction to do with just rares. So let's see here. I'm just gonna take a couple of questions. How much skill resetters do we have in game, not counting Renegade or Painkeeper? That's a good question. What comes to mind is only 2, maybe 3, with Yumiko, Kaimar, and then Ruella, unless I'm missing anybody. Do you guys know of anyone else?
Dryad Nia.
Wait, Dryad Nia? Okay.
She's a single target, but it's like a 3-turn reset, so you can reset somebody, like basically
Okay.
completely.
I don't know if there's anybody else. That is something it's something we'll have to take a look at. And then Jace asks, how long should it take a free-to-play player during Ultra Nightmare each day to get enough shards for a regular fusion? Every 2 to 3 months?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. That's assuming that you are 1 keying or maybe 2 keying.
Yeah, 2 keying, yeah, 2 weeks. If you're 2
2
keying,
keying.
Yeah.
I would say definitely 2 weeks should be enough shards for you. Anybody else have any disagreements, thoughts on that?
I mean, as
2
long as you
weeks.
have average RNG at least, that's like 4
Yeah.
sacreds and some other stuff, right? So
And if you 4 key, Gestal, I'm going to pass this on to you. How long does it take you to basically get enough shards? Because you're 4 keying right now and you're free to play, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably took. I mean, I didn't pull any shards, any sacred shards since Supreme Elhain. So, I mean, that was a good 3 months. But I also was able to basically hang on to like 5 or 6. So, yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
take you a good month or 2, probably 14.
And then we've got one more question from Nick. He is saying, when is he going to get a beep sacred shard from Clan Boss? Well,
it's always coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always tomorrow.
Okay.
Free beer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Free beer tomorrow, buddy. Free beer tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the Sylvan Watchers. And who would you guys like to see as the legendary in this Norwegian one? Let's go ahead and start with Jay first.
Honestly, in terms of Legos,
Yep.
the best that I would want, I'd probably say Elva.
Okay.
Clayna could have been pretty good, but they just need to give her a little bit of buff. But Elva's just generically really good. I already have, like Oella, so there's no point. So I would go with her.
Okay. Jarec, what about you?
Yeah, I probably Elva, Alil, or Galkabar.
Okay.
Funny enough, I was doing the faction wars today, and I'm really underwhelmed by Ruark. Actually, really underwhelmed. I don't have Claydna. I don't have the lady. Searsha, I'm not talking about her, but we can't get her anyway. But yeah, I think Elva's probably lots of use. She's really, really good support. And I think Alil, I just need to, since he's buff, he's actually really good. He's actually a fun champ to use. Like his buff strip and his damage he does. I think this seems to be a very support-ish sort of clan. You know, I mean, these guys are all about supporting, defensing and healing and that sort of stuff. And Alil is really the only attacker that's doing stuff in the Legos. So for me, Alil, I definitely could do with another one of him or a +1, +2.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
Definitely Rorik, actually. He solves Dragon hard for everybody. He's one of the best people for it, other than Stultus, because he transfers all the debuffs on the A1 and he heals himself. Puts a shield on himself. So
Okay. And Gestal, what about you?
I think Alva would probably help most people out, at least with faction wars. And Revive's good. She brings a lot of support, utility. Personally, I don't have King Galkabar, Ruark, or Lady of Earth. So I'd be cool with getting any one of those. I don't know much about the Void one, I don't know how to say the name, so yeah, I don't know much about her. She's kind of built for Sand Devil, right? Is that the one?
Kind of. So she was going to be my second pick. Ruark was my first, and that's because of Dragon. But she comes in with a block debuffs, right? So great for clan boss. Great for Hydra. She comes in with a decreased speed, and brings in a leech, which is awesome. And then her A1 just kind of is what it is. Not really too great, but the passive has a 30% chance of completely blocking the incoming damage on the first hit on an attack. Occurs once per turn. Books up to 60%. So 60% of the time, she's going to be kind of like, what's that epic? Sepulchre Sentinel, right? Which is kind of huge if you think about it on Clan Boss. It's kind of nuts. So, and it's on a 1-turn cooldown, so it can basically happen every time, if you're lucky enough. So, I think she's a great champion. I actually pulled her on one of my accounts that I was doing the Chronom chase for, a viewer, and she's sitting at like a 6-star, but she's like the only legendary champion on the account except for Artak. But yeah. So next thing I want to touch up on is the turn-based tournaments. Now, all of us being endgame players, we did do, I'm guessing, the turn-based tournament for the Sand Devils. Did you guys all partake in that? Okay.
Nope.
No?
Smashed it.
No.
Nope,
What?
man.
Easy, man. That's easy.
mid fusion, nah.
I was too focused on 2 accounts.
No, my clan's got a massive CC coming up. I skipped it. I'm not spending extra gems to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you honestly didn't really need to spend extra gems.
You did if you were doing the fusion, because
well,
all my energy was going into the fusion.
Depending on what you used on Monday of last week, if you bought your energy towards the end of the reset, then you could have had that for Dragon. But if you didn't, then yeah, you probably didn't go for it. But the rewards on it were pretty decent, right? I think they weren't that bad. But Jarec, you said you went for it, right?
Yeah, but I did it. I was just running stage 7, really. Just smash. I think I ended up with a couple of thousand of the first pots, just to, because I hadn't really touched it at all, Sand Devil, and I thought, well, might as well. I think I just got a little energy pack, and I had about 20,000 energy, so I thought, just gonna burn a bit on that, and yeah, man, to come out, I think I ended up with 3,000 points. and no one else. I
Okay.
think this next person had about 900. So I don't think it worked fast.
Okay.
But no, I did it.
Um,
Yeah, why not? Let's say the walls weren't too bad.
uh, Jay, did you go for it?
No, and I didn't feel
No?
like spending gems. No.
Okay. Okay. So I guess it was just me and Jarek then that were pretty prepared for this
Yeah.
fusion. You know. But the rewards on it weren't that bad. Although what was in question most of the time was the point allocation. And let me see if I can pull up some screenshots here. Whoops, let me move this out of the way. They kind of didn't make sense. We had some, if you completed stage 25 with about 100 turns, you were getting about 38 points, right? And the highest you could have gotten was 80. Did you guys see any screenshots of anybody out there with anything higher than that? With anything higher than...
I can pull up the calluses. He set the world record and posted it.
Let me see here.
Turn attacks, missions. It's not a tournament, so it doesn't show it.
Let's see.
38 for 92 turns.
Yep, that was about average is what I was looking at. One of my clanmates did forward me a screenshot of somebody who got down to, I believe was 11 turns.
Mhm.
And you would think at 11 turns, would you guys think it maxed out to 80? Or,
No.
what do you, no?
No, it says the max points is at 1 turn.
At 1 turn, okay.
Mm.
What do you think would have been a good allocation of points then for a 11 turn? I'll throw it to you, Nacho, first.
77.
77. Okay. Jarec, what about you? What do you think would have been a decent one for 11 turns?
Yeah, knowing them, probably been the 60s, mid 60s.
Okay. Jay?
Honestly, I don't even really know because I didn't do it. But pretty much, when they start off something small, they usually give you the lowest amount. When they notice people are not doing it, they're going to increase it. So the lower the better. That's all I can say.
Okay. And Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I would expect in the 70s, for sure.
70s? Let me see here. I'm trying to find the team that was sent to me. But it was not what I was expecting. I will say that much. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to, of course, I'm gonna have to go into my phone to find it because that's where I saved the pictures, didn't I? So just curious though, why were you farming stage 7, Jarec?
Just the quickest one. I think I'll do it in 5 to 7 turns in 8 seconds. It's pretty quick.
Okay, so it was just a time-wise thing. It wasn't for resource efficiency.
Yeah, and I was getting 16 points.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I mean, work it out. I mean, it's well quick, and I said I've got there within half an hour. I think I was top of the board. I thought, yeah, easy peasy.
Okay.
Not even that.
Okay. So it wasn't something that,
Yeah,
made more
yeah.
sense
Best
to you.
time 7 seconds. Lowest turns 5. So I mean, that was why I was doing it.
Let's see. I'm almost there. I know I can find it. Here we go. So the fastest that I've seen
54.
was 54 points at 11 turns. 11 seconds, 10 turns. And this team's kind of nuts. This team is kind of nuts. So it was I feel like the points were kind of skewed and weren't really, because even if you did like 150 turns, you would have gotten, I think it was like 28 points or something like that. So
So it doubles your efficiency to be fast. Still, is what you're saying. That's pretty good.
yeah,
Hmm.
it was so when I ran the numbers, it seemed like you could just basically use your daily energy if you farmed stage 25 within about 100 turns, and you were getting about 38, 39 points on average. But yeah, this is a super incredible like OP team, and I find it very, I guess I should say, disgusting that they only were able to manage to get 54 points at 10 turns. So leading off to that, are you guys excited for these new turn-based tournaments that we're going to be having? We got a dragon coming up tomorrow. So go ahead with Gestal first. Are you excited about these?
Excited, not really, I guess. Yeah, if the rewards are good, then I'll probably dip into them. But if not, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll really push on any of them. It's all about the rewards, I guess.
Okay. Jarec, what about you?
It's exactly that. I normally I'll gauge the room. I'm in there. I'll look at the rewards. I generally don't push to win unless they're legendary relentless. If they're epic relentless, I'll probably just go up to the top, assuming they're worth it. Maybe I'll even skip the top one because it's often like a 4-star chicken. So I'll probably just go up to the second one, second from top, which is probably a shard or like essence, and then I'll stop. It depends. Unless there's another event on a ×3 for something or a ×2 for something, then I probably wouldn't bother pushing it too hard. Unless there's a really
Okay.
good reason.
And Jay, what about you?
I'll use probably a little bit of energy, gauge it out, see how I like it. But most of the time, people want to. It's not even just about resources; it's actually your physical time. If the time is not worth the what you're going to get from the event, it doesn't make sense. You can just do anything else and actually get some more benefits. So hopefully they give us some decent stuff. Otherwise, it's just a skip.
Okay. Nacho?
Oh, absolutely excited about them. From all of them we've seen so far, they're higher rewards than a normal dungeon event, and most people don't participate in normal dungeon events whatsoever. However, all of you are raving about this immortal soulstone. It's going to give you 4-star chicken. Um, so I think
No, it's not even a
we'll
chicken,
see.
an immortal
It is.
soulstone.
It is. It turns into less than a chicken. You're right. Anyways, so you'll definitely see an uptick in dungeon participation. Right now, I don't care what dungeon events on. I don't pay attention to any of them unless it's a fusion.
Yeah.
Literally, I farm what dungeon I need gear from, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
from myself, I've been all the energy I have left is when there's no fusion going on, just goes into Sand Devils. But now with these turn-based, they've sparked my interest a little bit. How low do you think you guys can get? Let's say we'll start with like a Spider 20 team. How low are the turns that you guys think you can get? We'll start with Mr. Free to Play Gestal.
Well, the non-free to play account can do it in 5, so I'm not gonna probably change that. The free to
For
play,
stage
it takes a
20,
lot of
right?
turns.
We're
No,
gonna
it's hard.
okay, you want
Hard's
it hard?
Yeah, hard 10. My main account does it in 5 turns.
Okay. Wow.
My free to play is on 25, and it takes a lot of turns. But I don't. The free to play, I'm more focused on progression. I don't really care much about tournaments and stuff unless it's for fusions.
Okay.
So yeah.
Um. Okay. Jarek, what about you?
I actually don't have a hard time actually. I'm not, my normal, same as we got Gestal. What did you say? 20. I think mine's 5 turns as well. That's just the standard max HP hits. But I don't know what my hard is actually. I don't think I've tried it for a while, but I don't know, man. I'll probably just run 20. Same as for finite. I'm still running 24 already because I haven't got a finite team set up. Dragon's Heart's my only one that's decent, but even then, I don't even know if there's anything to write home about. My Dragon 10 is 31 turns, so
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all right.
Julie, what about you?
You can do it in 1 turn.
You can stage 20 in one turn.
Nut can one shot the boss.
I
Two
okay.
cold hearts. 2 cold hearts does it right now. Has the record.
I will definitely.
It's literally just 2 cold hearts, and nut hits harder than 2 cold hearts will. So
That's got to be some insane gear.
It's not cap damage, so you can just infinitely scale it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nice.
Jay, what about you?
Yeah, now that I have the Newt fusion, I'm gonna be doing that probably because before I was using chickens like with like a solo champion like Kripken Gall and just like putting the chickens in there stage 20 and just farming. But now if I can just put chickens in Newt and just one shot, now I'm getting a fast farm and getting chickens. So I don't know my exact time, but I know he's gonna be my fastest way. He's gonna basically help all my hard modes and my normals, speeding them up.
Nice. So for me, stage 20, I think I just did a team for Steven, and it was like 4 turns. And the builds aren't that crazy insane. I think everybody's at like 210, 215 crit damage. As for my main, the lowest I've been able to get stage 10 down to is 8 turns, and that's because I don't have a Sisia. If I had a Sisia, I'd bring it down to the 5. But yeah. So it has been a wonderful time with everybody today. Thank you again for everybody who joined us on the stream. Thank you for all of you guys joining me on and having this debate. But we like to do shout outs. So hopefully you guys have yours prepared. Nacho looks like he's got a smile, so we're gonna start with him first.
I'm gonna shout out Lord Sneckers. He's coming out pretty quick. He's been super helpful to all kinds of people. He's basically a free to play player. He's spent less than $100 on his account. He bought a couple Forge passes, nothing crazy. So yeah, he's extremely knowledgeable. He's doing hard mode dungeons. He's participating in Platinum Arena. He's in Gold Live Arena, Gold 4 Tag Team, the whole 9. Super strong player, super knowledgeable, and he's been helpful. So
Cool. Jarec?
So no one individual, but I just want to say again for the Ray community who are just so cool. I've just literally just passed 800 I never thought I'd get here after. Thanks, pal. I mean, it's only been what is it like 4 to 6 months, I think. And
yeah.
I never imagined I'd actually be sticking to this or doing it. I thought after a few I'd be too embarrassed and shot down and be like, oh man, this is ridiculous. But I mean, the guys, it's weird. It's weird when you actually get regular people watching your stuff and commenting and praising it and saying nice, like kind words and stuff. I can't thank everyone enough. But it's just such a surreal feeling that these guys are out there and they're liking what we produce, all of us as content creators. And so yeah, again, I just want to say thanks very much. I'm 4/5 of the way there to that 1,000 subs, which has been the target. So I'm striving, guys. So again, just any content you want, just let me know and I'll do my best to get it. But thank you. Thanks to everybody for supporting me.
I remember the first collab we did. We probably spent, I think it was like 2 hours prepping for it and then recording the video.
Yeah. Yes, mate. I did, mate. Literally set me up from nothing to ready to go. You must be like, dude, what have I got into? Appreciate it, man.
No worries, no worries. Gestal, shout out.
Shout out my man TM Surfer. I know he's took a little break, but he's coming back. I saw him there Friday night. Portuguese streamer, awesome dude, speaks English and Portuguese. Probably speaks other languages too, but I know you can get on there and he helps a ton of accounts and smart dude. And he's a good time every time. Watching him. So much love, TM.
Yeah, loves to drink that wine. I always
He does.
when I go to his stream, that's the first button I hit. Drink the wine. Drink the wine. Drink the wine. He is
He's
fun.
always got it there too, ready.
Yeah, he is definitely fun. Jay, what about you? Shout outs?
Man, I actually have to give it to one of my viewers, and I usually give it to other content creators, but this guy has been going nuts. Okay, not only did he help me, okay, not even to say that specific word, but I guess I just turned it to. But he's literally going pretty nuts because he helped me get my my Chrome and my DJ, right? He did 6 accounts. Then on top of that, he's been helping my Discord. And then on top of that, he's watching literally every single video that I've ever released since 10 years ago. I'm like, you're insane.
That's
But
awesome.
hey, shout out to Buster's Choice. Thank you so much for all the support.
Yeah. It's always nice to have a community that really enjoys being with the content creator. I can't tell you, one of my things is I always want people to, DM me, talk to me. I'm not, I can be a little harsh sometimes in speaking the truth, but I am very approachable. And I mean, I can show you my Discord messages. I probably have almost 100 viewers that DM me on a regular basis every day. Like if I go a couple of days without video, um, I'll get some of them like, "Hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you upload. Are you doing okay?" So that is a great feeling to have. And my shout out's actually gonna go to one of my viewers, and it's Jiggy. He DM'd me about 3 months ago, and we were talking about Clan Boss. I kind of helped him get his first Clan Boss team going. We went from a 2-key Nightmare team to 1 King Ultra Nightmare, and then a couple of days ago he DM'd me a picture of him working on Hydra. So it is glad to see that the content that we put out as content creators, you guys take it in, absorb it, and use it to progress your accounts. And that's kind of what I love. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm a teacher with all these young minds out there, and I'm giving them my knowledge, and I love seeing all of that come back. But yeah. So, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed us. Make sure that you guys all go follow every one of these gentlemen over on their YouTubes and Twitch. Get Jarec to the 1,000 sub mark. Let's get everybody else. I think Thule or Nacho. I'll get used to that. I'll get used to that.
One day.
He's I think you're what, at like 500-600 subs at this point. So
250.
250. Oh my god. Everybody pause the video, go over, if you're watching this afterward, subscribe to his channel. I'll put all of everybody's channels in the description below. Make sure you go follow Gestal Gaming. He's been doing a lot of raid news every day. I've been enjoying it. I actually watch it on my way home from work. And then make sure you go and follow Jay too. Jay does a lot of account help every day. I log onto the stream, and he's basically working on everybody else's account over his, which sometimes can be good as a content creator because it gives you fun things to do, especially when our accounts are so end game and we don't, we have not much else to do. But it can hurt you, and sometimes when you don't pay attention and you miss a fusion like Brogni, right?
Exactly.
So yes, guys, as always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. We'll catch you guys next week.